Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a get ready with me / my morning routine for when I go to work in the mornings. I wake up at 5:20 in the morning and I am a complete zombie in the morning. I kind of force myself to go into the bathroom. I will brush my teeth, and then I have a really bad habit of checking my phone. Typically I look at my emails, I'll really quick scroll through Instagram, and then I will go ahead and put in some eye drops. I've had a really bad dry eye, especially now that spring is starting to come about. And today is a hair wash day, so that means that my shower ends up taking a little bit longer, but I will turn on the water and go ahead and hop into the shower. Once I get out of the shower, I will put on a robe and wrap my hair inside of a towel. And then I'll start to make my way downstairs to the dining room. It's really early in the morning and I hate waking everyone up, so I just use my light on my phone so I don't have to turn the lights on. Once I am downstairs, I will turn on the dining room light, and then I will also turn on the kitchen lights. I try really hard to make it downstairs by 6 o'clock. I think 6 o'clock is a really good number for me to kind of say, hey, I need to make it downstairs by this time. Some days I get downstairs a lot quicker. It depends on usually if I have to wash my hair, really. While the coffee is brewing, I will start to get on my phone and look up a podcast. I have really been enjoying listening to podcasts in the mornings, and one of my favorites is The American Hauntings. I really like the storylines and the history behind each of them, and I think I'm just a weirdo and I'm just a sucker for like haunting podcasts. Once I get done making my coffee, I have been really trying to focus on drinking a glass of water in the morning. And something that I have found that has really helped me is, one, we got a new fridge that has a water dispenser, and I feel like that is such a small thing, but it has made such a difference with me just kind of being able to grab a glass and get a glass of water in the mornings. But I have also really loved adding some mint to my water. I don't think it really does a ton. I honestly think that it's just being able to kind of use the mint plants that I have in my own kitchen and adding a little bit of color to my water is just making me want to drink it more. Does that sound really weird? I feel like it really does. I like to get ready in my dining room. I feel like it's further away from everyone so that I am not disturbing them and letting them sleep. I have a little coffee table that I purchased before I bought my home, and it doesn't fit in my living room. So we've kind of shoved it off into this corner. And this is just kind of where I choose to get ready in the mornings because it's just a nice little spot. I have plenty of light, and I also have storage for my makeup, which is really nice. So I will drink my water and then I will just start getting ready. So I use a Belief cream. This is just a cream that I've purchased in Sephora because it was in those little aisles where all the little goodies are while you're trying to check out. It works for my skin. I'm not really like into a ton. I put on some foundation. Right now I'm using True Match. Again, I like to try things a little bit different every once in a while, and I will just use a really big fluffy brush to blend that in. Once I have made sure that my foundation is completely blended in all the way down into my neckline, I will then start to use a concealer. I have been loving this Urban Decay All-Nighter Concealer. I think it works fantastic, especially if you have dark circles like I do. And then I put a little bit underneath my nose and then around my lips because I have some redness and then some spottage kind of there. So I just want to kind of conceal that. So once I have that there, then I will take a smaller brush and just blend. Next up, I use a Tarte Pro Glow contour and highlight palette. I really like taking the contour color and putting it on my eyelids. I don't like to use a ton of eyeshadows. I'm just not into them at the moment. I find this really simple and I feel like it keeps me looking natural for the most part. So I place it all on the top part of my eyelids, and then I kind of bring it down to my lash line underneath. For mascara, I've been using the Better Than Sex by Too Faced, and I really enjoy this formula. It works really well for me and will definitely be repurchasing this. Then I used the Tinted Brown by NYX, and I actually like this as well. So I have this a pretty large brush, which I like. I comb out my eyebrows first, and then I will just kind of define it by adding in my lines and then filling in wherever my eyebrows just kind of look a little scarce. Once I'm done with that, I will pull back out my Tarte contour kit. I will add some contour on the sides of my nose and then on my cheeks, and then I will also add a little bit of highlighter. I really like this palette. I've been loving using contour just kind of as an all over my face. It's like my all-in-one kit. And it never fails that at some point or another, the towel starts to bug me. So I end up taking it out and just kind of running my fingers through my hair to loosen it all up and start allowing it to dry a little more with just the air. Now here I am taking the other brush that I have just to be able to add a little bit of highlighter. I absolutely love the Tarte highlight. I think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I really like that it comes with different shades as well. So I feel like in the summer when I'm a little bit tanner, I have some really nice bronze colors to be able to use. Once I'm finished with my makeup, I will typically spend just a few minutes drinking my coffee and water, listening to the podcast, and then I will eventually make my way back upstairs to get dressed. I just quietly go into my closet, which is really nice that it is a walk-in so that I'm not waking everybody else up around me. Once I am dressed, I will go into the bathroom to start working on my hair, and I bring my coffee with me. Lately, I've been using the L'Oreal Ever Curl. I really like this formula. I think it makes my hair feel extremely soft, so I put a little bit towards the very ends where my hair needs it. I've also been using the Garnier Mega Full Spray. It's a thickening spray, so what's really nice is because I don't feel like I have a ton of hair, and it's really thin and fine, I love using this because I can spray it all in my hair, and my hair does end up looking fuller. The downside is I feel like my hair has a very coarse texture at the end of it, which I don't particularly like. Using a brush, I will just brush and blow dry my hair out, and it's so funny because at the end I look like a huge puffball. And then I will start to curl my hair. Now I use a flat iron to be able to curl my hair. I really like how I can control the type of curl that I get. Sometimes I feel that if I use a curling iron, it looks too curly and I end up looking, I don't know, something like a kid from the 80s. It's just not a great look for me. So I will just very gently, I will run through one time, and then I will just kind of tilt it at a little bit of an angle, and it gives this a really pretty curl. The curl that I tried to go for this time around was more of just kind of a messy, like wavy look. I didn't really want to give it too much of a curl. I just wasn't into it that time. So again, I really like being able to use a flat iron just because I can control that curl. Once I'm done curling my hair, I will use a Redken oil that I will just kind of spread all over to the ends and a little bit on the top so that I don't have a ton of frizz. I have a lot of breakage in my hair, so this kind of helps to control it so that it's not just flying all over the place. After that, I'm pretty much ready to go to work. So I will walk downstairs and open the blinds in the dining room. I like to start adding a little bit of light in there. And my husband has a tendency to always forget to open these blinds in the dining room. So it kind of helps him out a little bit. Plus, I really like how pretty it looks. Then it's time to finish packing my bags. So I will grab my lunch and my iPad and any other papers that I need and pack them into my bag. I try to be really good about leaving my bags by the door so that way I'm not forgetting anything. And I try to do that at night. I will put on my jacket, grab my things, and head out to go to work. Something I've been loving lately is the fact that there is so much more light when I leave the house in the mornings. I try to leave the house by at least 6:50. That means that I can make it to school by 7 o'clock. And as always, safety first when you're driving, and I put on my seatbelt. It's so funny because I feel like we're so much of creatures of habit. I am definitely a creature of habit, and I have this one parking spot that I have been using ever since I got hired at this new school. And I have been here for 2 years, and this is the exact same spot that I park in every single day, and I will always back into this spot. I will then grab my things and start to head into school. Once I get into my classroom, the very first thing I always do is turn on my main light. I will then head into my teaching area space and place my things down and take my jacket off and make sure that it gets hung up. I also have to make sure that I take out anything that I place inside of my pockets, or else I will be looking for them all day long. Once that's done, I will do my duties and walk around my classroom to make sure I turn on all of my lights. I like to have a lot of little lamps on and a lot of fairy lights on. And then at this time, we have plants growing in our classroom. So I like to make sure that the plants are growing, and they're so cute. I'm loving seeing the little beans starting to sprout. Once I've had a chance to really turn on all the lights in my classroom, I will also walk around and just make sure that everything is in its place. For me, I really like to make sure that everything is in its home, that nothing really looks cluttered or messy. I feel as though if my room felt like that, that I would not be in the best mindset and ready to kind of start my day. Then I'll make my way back to my table and I will start to unpack all of my things from my bags. I'll take my lunch and place it inside of my fridge, and then I'll decide on something to eat for breakfast. I typically will try to buy foods to bring in and keep for the week. My normal breakfast is a Greek yogurt, but because we've had cereal in the classroom for PSSAs, there is a Cheerios that is fruity that I've been enjoying. None of the kids decided to eat it, so I felt obligated to eat this cereal myself. I'll take my breakfast and head back into my workspace. One of the very first things that I like to do in the mornings is to open up my laptop and really check through my emails once again. I open up a daily planning checklist that I have on my iPad that I just recently created and really been enjoying using. I like the fact that I can put down the date, the cycle day, events, and I also have a morning and afternoon checklist. This is where I kind of jot down all of my thoughts for the morning. I will put my podcast on, spend some time checking some things off of my list, and then checking to see what is it that I need to accomplish for the morning. This is usually a time where I go through my lesson plans. I will make sure that I have all of my copies available for the day and make sure that I've printed anything off. I've also gone through and checked my emails and write down anything that I need to get done for the day. So I have a few that I need to respond to, but it takes more than 2 minutes for me to be able to respond to some emails. So I just write myself a note onto my checklist to make sure that I do get that done sometime during the day. By mid-morning, I like to make sure that I have a lot of the items checked off of my list. I will write some items down that I need to get done. And actually, I was able to finish copying and distributing the QR code. And I really like the fact that I can just mark it off on my iPad. I don't have the extra clutter of papers, and I always know where this sheet of paper is. This is another routine that I never fail to do. I don't really like my kids sharpening their pencils in the classroom, so I will make sure that all of the pencils are sharpened for them and ready to go for the day. I will then make sure that all the materials are ready to go on a cart. I have this little cart that I will use especially when I'm doing things a little bit more whole group. With JA BizTown, PSSAs, and PBL recently, I've been using this space quite a bit, and I really like that I kind of have a station that I can just wheel around, make sure all of the materials are there ready to go so that I'm not fumbling and looking for things as I'm teaching. I also like to make sure that my desk area is pretty clean. I am a teacher that will make a mess throughout the day, so I need to make sure that at the beginning of the day, my space is clean and tidy and I only have a few papers out. It never fails that by the end of the day, it is completely cluttered. So by me being a little bit more proactive, cleaning it off for the morning, I don't have as big of a mess by the time the afternoon comes along. I have this little file area that I've been really enjoying, but I will go through the stack of papers that I will typically have either in the morning or afternoon and kind of sort them out so that I know exactly where every single paper is. And again, I'm not trying to fumble around looking for sheets of papers when someone asks me for them. I will also spend a minute or two getting together my morning message. Now, I try to be pretty good for the most part and write my morning message the afternoon before the next day. It just helps me to be a little bit more proactive, but depending on how much time I have available, some days I do it and some days I don't, and I just have to write it in the morning. So this morning was one of those days where I just needed to get my morning message done and up. Now, normally I have a collab in the morning, and this is just where a group of teachers get together to have a meeting. As you can see here, I am running a little bit late, and collabs start at 8 o'clock, and they typically end around 8:30, 8:35. So that means I have about 5 minutes before I have kids walking into my classroom. With the 5 minutes that I have before the kids start walking in, I also like to make sure that, again, everything is ready to go. I have everything that I need out. Everything is kind of in its little spot, and that any copies that I picked up from the printer are put where they need to be for the day. I will then walk over and get Alexa started. I like to play classical music for my kids when they walk in the morning, and then I always like to set the mood and turn the lights out. I feel like this helps them stay a little bit more calm so that they're not coming in so wild. And that is it, guys. That is my morning routine for going to work. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys really, really soon. Bye!